Meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally, and there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90.
Gabrielle Union is back online to talk about why she's no longer comfortable doing 50-50 with her partner, Dwayne, anymore. If you remember 2 years ago, Gabrielle Union came online to say that she is doing 50-50 because she's an hyper-independent woman and she feels like she needs to support her husband regardless, and she's a 50-50 woman. A lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were saying that we should mind our business. If it's working for her, it's working for her. There's some relationship whereby 50-50 is what works for them, right? But now she's coming online to say that when it comes to a mortgage, sometimes she just wants to put in 10% and she wants her husband to put in the 90%. And now she is like overwhelming for her and she feels like it should do the providing 100 because, of course, he's a billionaire, so, and he has more money than her. Let me show you all this clip and we'll come back and talk about it.
50 or bust, right? And I meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally, and there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't have, and I need him to be 100. It's a trauma response. And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything, not my heart, not my cash. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety, like I was crying, I was shaking. And he was like, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back. Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar who made a bazillion more amount of money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone. And you release that to someone, chaos can happen. And it's brought us closer because he knows it's not about whether he can afford it. It's being vulnerable enough to be open enough to know that I'm okay.
Wow.
What is your take on this new development saying that she's no longer comfortable doing 50-50 with her husband again? What do you have to say? Do you think she's just coming out to just clear the hair and make it, let it not look as if, oh, you're doing 50-50 with your mom? Because when she did that interview and she said that she does 50-50 with her husband, a lot of people came for her. In fact, a lot of people were like, why are you like this? Why are you trying to please him? He has a lot of money that can take care of you alone. So why are you doing everything? Even doesn't even mean that it's going to change or it will not cheat on you or whatever. It's still going to be who he is. So you're now coming out to say that you're no longer comfortable doing 50-50 with your husband. It's kind of like, Do you guys think that she just came online to just so that people will stop talking about the fact that she's doing 50-50 with a man, or she's actually really tired? I have your reaction on this video. Let me share you some clips to watch and we'll come back and talk about it.
Famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And I meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally, and there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't have and I need him to be 100. It's a trauma response. And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything, not my heart, not my cash. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety, like I was crying, I was shaking. And he was like, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better.
So this is clearly a big lie, but let me tell you why it's a great thing for women. Celebrities live and die out their reputations. This woman's depending on you to basically support her. And she came back here and corrected what she said about going 50-50, which she's probably still doing, with her husband, because you all were making her pockets hurt, you were making her public perception hurt, and the tide has turned. No longer is it cool to be the self-sacrificial lamb, to be the cool girl. It's not cool to be a Delulu 50-50 girl. Now, this was 100% media spin, the same way, oh, we were on a break was a media spin. He cheated on her and had that baby. And that's how I know she's lying right now. He needed your permission to pay the mortgage. He didn't need your permission to cheat on you and have that child. He didn't need the permission to bring that child home. He's always done what he wanted to do, but you want me to believe that in the matter of finance, your word reigns supreme. And he wanted to support you fully, but you forced him into going 50-50. Yeah, right. This is a man who had a stay-at-home wife to begin with. He's supporting his family 100%. He was supporting the mistress 100%. Still is, by the way. But he offered and you fought him off? Okay. And remember, up to this point, she's been doubling down. She's been like, yeah, defending her decision to go 50-50 and then talking about all the extra stuff she does in the bedroom. munching on booty snacks and whatnot, trying to convince you this is an enviable estate, having a man at any cost. It is a massive victory to see a pick-me like this have to change her public perception. It was throughout her whole conversation. See, I meant 50-50 mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And see, this is really about emotional support and vulnerability and safe spaces. Expectations are shifting and cultural perceptions are catching up. Gabby. Salma Hayek got the same backlash when she said something similar. Oh, she and her husband are splitting the bills equally and she has to worry about what to do. He's a billionaire. Public perception was very negative towards this situation. So keep it up, ladies. Keep on bringing pressure to bear on the pick-me's, on the cool girls, on the male-centered girls, because though you will never change their hearts and minds, you can change what is expected of women, and you can help to save the next generation. It's just like when smoking went out of fashion. Just by rejecting something that you're being offered, just by saying that doesn't appeal to me, you can help to change the world. But like with smoking, they're going to give it to you in a new package, like vaping. And they've been feeding us pick me and centering men light. Oh, well, it's fine to be in a relationship. Oh, it's great for you to be on your own and be independent. But hey, the course of true love never runs straight. And when you're in it and he really is supporting you and helping you, what's the matter if you give a little bit more? And next thing you know, you're right back where you started. Constant vigilance, ladies. Keep it up. That's it. Like and follow for more.
So I was listening to The Breakfast Club this morning, and Lauren LaRosa had brought up how Gabrielle Union said that 50-50 in a relationship is not a good thing, and how she basically is recanting her statement and saying that, it doesn't work out for her. And if you don't know, a couple of years ago, it was probably like 2 years ago, Gabrielle Union has said she is 50-50 with her and her husband. Like, they split all the bills, boom, bang, bang, she's a boss-ass bitch. Like, she's like, I'm going to pay half, you going to pay half. But recently she has had a epiphany and you could pay this mortgage because I'm struggling. Like, you work more than me, you have more than me. Like, there's no reason I should be paying 50-50 because sometimes I need you to be 90% when I'm 10%. And sometimes I just need a little bit more from you. And Gabrielle Union was saying how she went to her husband and she was like, can you pay the mortgage? And, it was kind of hurting her pride. And of course, Charlemagne and Envy and Just With The Mess all has something to say. And Just With The Mess was like, she's a little bit upset that her husband didn't notice that she was struggling and that he didn't take the initiative or take charge and be like, nah, you ain't even got to worry about the mortgage. Like, why are you even doing this? And Charlemagne the God was like, saying basically like everybody wants to not be able to pay bills. Like, Just With The Mess shouldn't be so upset at that. And the only thing that I had a comment on was that sometimes women can be so strong, because y'all remember me last year, I was crying talking about I had 3 jobs and working on some shit. Like, that was also my pride. I wanted to work those 3 jobs because I don't want nobody feeling like they can control me. And that's a trauma response for me, because I feel like when people have things for you or like help you out, they feel like they can do whatever they want to with you. And not getting personal, but I've experienced something like that. So I made it a thing where everything is in my name. I own everything. I pay for my own stuff because I don't want it to ever be you throwing it in my face. And I feel like in her situation, Gabrielle Union, like, she's a strong, independent Black woman, and she's married to a high profile Black man. So I feel like automatically her pride was like, no, you're not about to come in here and everybody say that you take care of me, baby, because I could take care of myself. Because that is exactly the type of attitude I would have had. And I feel like from a man's perspective, when they deal with women like this, like, they're the men, so they also have pride. And it's like, if you want to do it, why not? Because everybody would like to be taken care of. If I don't have to put all of this into the relationship and you're willing to give me the 50, I'm going to take it. And I feel like that's not wrong, because if the woman is saying like, I'm going to pay for everything, I feel like that's not wrong for the man to be like, all right, babe, you do that. Even if I could do it on my own. But when you're ready, because when she was ready, he was like, duh, I'm going to pay the mortgage. Like, you ain't got to pay the mortgage. That was a you thing. You feel me? So even though I understood where Jess was saying like about how the man should have taken charge, sometimes I feel like men need that type of direction. And at the end of the day, when they love you, like, whatever makes you happy, babe, You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, long story short, y'all, when it just comes to pride, I feel like that's where the relationships kind of get wonky because, people always be like, oh, it's not about the money. I just want some. It is about the money. Money is a big ass stressor. And I hate that everybody just blankets over that like everybody's a millionaire. Financial stress is probably the biggest thing to break up relationships, okay? Because yeah, you have infidelity, you have cheating, but when it comes to money, baby, if we ain't got no pot to piss in, okay? So yeah, those were my thoughts today.
Remember when Gabrielle Union went viral for saying this?
In this household, we split everything 50-50. There's always this like gorilla on your back that is like, you gonna sleep in? Somebody might not eat. Come on, get away. And it's hard.
And at the time, I said this. If she likes it, I love it. And for most of us, it is strange that your husband is in a position to provide for you, but yet you're under all this stress. That man has too much money for you to be that stressed. I don't care what nobody says. Well, now she's saying this.
It's a trauma response. And 50-50 is, I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything, not my heart, not my cash. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety. Like I was crying, I was shaking. And he was like, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back. Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar who made a bazillion more amount of money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone. And you release that to someone, chaos can happen. And it's brought us closer.
There were men in comment sections like mine saying things like we should mind our business. Those people are happy. We're just bitter. But I think we were able to see those subtle cries for help. This woman was working herself sick because she was too afraid to let go and to let that man who could well afford to pay those bills, pay those bills. She's right. It is a trauma response. And it's usually from women who've been let down by men in the past who promised that they would lead, but she still ended up holding the bag. Or by women who have always been the strong, independent, usually oldest daughter who've always had to take care of herself and sometimes even other people. It's very difficult to go from that position to being like, I'm going to trust you with everything, when they've never felt safe enough to do so. There is a sense of vulnerability to it. But if you can't be vulnerable with your own husband, who can you be vulnerable with?
At first, I see no reason why you are doing 50-50 with a billionaire. I see no reason why you're doing 50-50 with him the very first time. And when it comes to you doing 50-50 with a man, I always say I don't think it can ever be equal for us to share 50-50 finance with your man, because it's only going to be in 50-50. It's only going to be in finance. It will never be in any other thing in the relationship. You as a woman will see the 100 in most of the things, right? And one of the things, or one of the major things that these men do, is just to provide financially. So the only thing that they're supposed to do 100, now you're now sharing it with them, while you be the one to carry the other 100 on your head. So at first, I see no reason why she was doing 50-50 before. But if she's coming online to say that sometimes she just want to drop 10, sometimes she want him to be 90, definitely she was never okay with it. She's just doing it, probably she feels like, oh, I'm going to be that sacrificial woman. I'm going to be that, I'm not that suffer too much kind of woman. In Pidgin, they say, "Nami suffer pass of a woman. I support my husband," I feel like she's that kind of woman that she's trying to show that, oh, I am a supportive woman. I don't want my man to feel like I am burdened in with my things. If so far we are the one eating, or we're the one doing, paying and living in the same house, or it is our house, we have to pay for it together and share the bills together. Some women actually does it like that. They feel like, I don't want to bore in because I have my money as well as he has his own money. Yes, you can do that if it's not, weighing you down. Sometimes you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to get a bill for this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because you have your money, and of course you're going to spend your money however you want to spend it. But when it's already getting too much for you and the man has already seen it, like, if you don't do it, then we're not doing it, then it's a problem. Because that man I feel like that man can take care of her very well with the kind of money he has. And he even have more, he has more than her, according to statistics. So I don't understand why you are now taking from the little you have to support a rich man. I don't understand. Like it doesn't even make sense to start with. You're supposed to keep your own money and let it keep building. Let him add his own money to your money so that it can even keep building. But now you're spending from the little that you have to support somebody that has a lot. The long and short of it is that I'm glad that she has realized that the 50-50, she's just been, stupid by her own part, to be honest. If she's truly, or she has truly realized that she cannot keep dropping 50-50 in some things, fine, good for her. Seriously, good for her. I just hope that other women that are doing 50-50 with a rich man will understand what they are doing. I'm not saying don't support your partner when there's not enough money to get some things in the house, or for pay for mortgage, pay for car bill, pay for electricity bill. I'm not saying don't do all of that, because you're an adult as well. You're going to pay bills one way or the other, right? But when it's already getting too much at your own end, or when you know the kind of partner that you have, sometimes when you check the kind of partner that you have, and when they see that when you start supporting on things like that, you start sharing bills, they will stop doing things. If you have that kind of partner, there's no need for you to start sharing bills with them, because at the end of the day, even when they have a lot, you still keep sharing the bills with them. And the thing about 50-50 in relationship is that relationship can never be 50-50. That is what I know, especially when it comes to financial aspects. And even see, if you and your partner are doing 50-50, for me, I just feel like the only way you can be accurate is only financial aspects, to be honest. When it comes to other aspects, you can never be equal. It can never be equal, because I feel like women do most of the work in relationship. So you're already doing 100. So now you're not saying you want to do 50-50 on finance. Definitely you're doing 150, is doing 50. To me, can never be balanced, right? But then if she has realized it, good for her. But then I'd like to know your thought. Do you think that she's just coming online to lie? Because Cecilia Rashida said she doesn't believe any crap she's saying. And people in the comment section are also saying that it might be trauma for her as well, because of her past marriage, and also past experiences as well. Probably she also feels like she can actually win his heart. Some women do a lot of things to just win a man's heart and feel like, okay, when I do these things, when I just make the man feel like I am special, I am supportive, I am this, I'm that, maybe he's going to be a good person to me. At the end of the day, when you've done everything and you realize that no matter what you do, no matter what you've done to him, it will still be who he is. Then that is why women start changing and be like, well, I cannot keep turning around and around, to be this kind of person for you, and you will not change or be a good person to me. What is your take on today's video? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, it's your girl Maria David, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.